Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm going to cover New World today on my Steam Deck OLED and how I actually play it. I'll go in, just show you real quick the controller settings. I did find a community layout for this. As you can see, it's the Steam controller 2.1. I mainly use this. It works fairly well. I had two different controller setups, but this is the one that I found the most to be useful for me. And I am running this with Proton Experimental. I've used others. It seems to work either way. I just set this on Experimental just in case there's something new that might help with performance. I'm going to jump forward here once this gets loaded up. The load times on this are fairly substantial. I am using cryo utilities with the 4 gig swap, so it does help. I've tried it with the 1 and it's a massive difference going from default to 4 gig. It's a very substantial difference. I've also, I use here, as you can see, I use my per game profiles. I do lock this at 45 frames because I have the OLED. If I didn't have the OLED, you know, of course, you'd want to shift it down to match. But being on the OLED, for the most part, and of course in cities, just like on PC, it's going to bog down some. So you do have to use a mixture. You can use a thumbstick, but you have to use a mixture of that plus the touchpad. And a lot of times I actually find that I prefer to use the touchpad to replicate the mouse movement more so than I do the thumbstick. It just depends on what I'm doing. Okay, so we're back in. And like I say, in the city, you're going to dip down. As you can see in the top left corner, I'll open up the tools just a little bit more. Oops. So you can see. But low to, I mean, mid 20s is pretty normal for inside the city. But I mean, even still, it's not bad. Of course, inside the city, you're running around. This really doesn't matter much here. We'll run through the settings real quick. So start button works just as if you was to press escape. We can go up here into the menu, settings, and then I'll take you over here to video. It is at 1280 by 800. I have FOV set all the way out. I do that, of course, for combat reasons. Let's see here. And then, whoop. Everything, I will just tell you, everything is set to low. And I also I have the VSync off, and I have dynamic res scale turned off. I really don't see much of a need for it. It would probably help if you were here in town, but outside, it really doesn't matter. So I have this set up that where you hit double X, will mount up to your horse, and then A is to jump. So you have A for jump, and then double A to roll. So it's the same thing whenever you have your mount out. You have A to jump, and then double A and hold is your sprint. So as you can see, we're out here in the wilderness now, and we're holding our 45 frames. And honestly, coming from playing on a very high-end PC, 4K Ultra, down to this really isn't that bad of an experience, to be honest with you. We'll just find something to... I mainly use this. I mainly use this for farming. So whenever I'm at home, I play on my PC. That's where I do like my main OPRs and 3Vs and things of that nature. But like if I'm out wanting to mine or farm or something like that, gather resources, the Steam Deck is an absolute godsend for that. Whenever I'm away from home, I take this with me and I can get in some extra time. But as you can see, everything works well. The mapping is pretty decent on this. I'm debating on making my own mapping, but as far as performance goes, it runs about 45. I'll unlock it here just so you can see. We'll run it all the way up to 90, which I think the game has an I have the in-game limit set to 60. But see, even still with it unlocked, it just depends on what you're doing. You're getting mid 40s to lower 50s. So I just cap it at the 50. Every once in a while you'll get a stutter, of course, as it's trying to load something. As it's loading assets, but it's not too terrible. Again, I wouldn't want to like go into any OPRs or anything like that with this. I have done some Merc runs with it. Doing Merc runs, you're going to get down to like 20 FPS. It's bad, but of course Merc runs, there's a lot going on, if you know, so it cripples even my high-end PC. But it's pretty neat, this setup, because you can hold your left bumper, and then your X is your left, like your left skill, your Y is your middle, and then your B is your F as it rotates around. So it's set up pretty well. Left trigger to block, right trigger to just do your regular, and of course you hold it to heavy. Overall, though, a very playable experience, and like I said, using it for farming and such, it is it's absolutely amazing. Navigating around the menus, of course. This is where you would use the mouse, the touchpad, so you can navigate around all your menus, get into your inventory, whatever you need to do, change out your gear sets, use boost. Your right trigger is your right click on a mouse, left trigger is left click, so it all works just the same. But overall, solid experience, but I do recommend capping it out at 45 on the OLED. Good Lord. There we go. Cap it at 45 on the OLED, and then, you know, if you was on the regular deck, turn it down a little bit further to match your screen's refresh rate. But very playable. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'm going to cover a few other games. If you have any questions specifically about this game or other games, sound off down in the comments below, and I will try to cover it. I'm going to start doing a whole lot of Steam Deck games now, and I'll try to cover whatever I can for you guys and let you know. Till next time, peace.